This is Andy from HowEFIWorks.com, and today I'd like to demonstrate test modes to verify that your wiring is correct. This is normally done when you first wire up a car. So what I'm going to do is open Tuner Studio. You can see that the car is connected. By the gauges are white. And in the top right corner is Canbus test modes. And the very first tab about halfway down in the output section is output test mode, injection, and spark. I'll open that up, make it a little bigger. And the first thing you need to do in the upper left corner is enable test mode. At this point, the fuel pump on button goes from gray to black right here. If you tap this, you should be able to hear your fuel pumps turn on. Mine happen to be with the fuse off at right the moment, so you can't hear them. But you can turn them on and off to verify that the fuel pump wiring is correct. We'll go ahead and turn them on. Depending on how you have your car wired, the way mine is, I do have to have the fuel pump running to get power to the coil and injectors. The very next section down is coil testing. By the way, extreme caution. This is high voltage coming off of these coils. Don't get anywhere near these things. In the first box, interval, I'm going to put 200 in. That's the default, which will be the equivalent of 600 RPM right here in this box. And I'm going to test one coil at a time. There's a drop-down box. There's off, one, or sequence. I'm going to go to 1 and coil A. I'm going to hit start. And I don't know if you can hear it right now, but number 1 coil down here in the bottom corner is firing. I can see it. And I'll go ahead and I have a timing light, and you should be able to see it flashing. That's the equivalent of 600 RPM. So now for fun, let's change this up down to 20, which will be 10 times faster. And if I pull the timing light, you should be able to see the reflection or the flashing that correlates with the spark flying. I can then go to coil B. Coil A is always the first one in your firing sequence. Mine happens to be 1342. So it's coil A or 1 is firing now. I'm going to go to coil B. Start. It just jumped to the second coil in my firing sequence, which is this one right here. I'm going to go to coil C. The 134 one right here is firing. And D, the last one in my firing sequence, which is right here. I can hit stop. You can check dwell. You can also do injector testing. At this point, the best thing to do is if the car is running, let it run with the fuel pumps turned off so you completely drain the injector rail of fuel. The motor will die. That's one of these things you have to do before you run this test. We'll go ahead and leave this at 20, which is the equivalent of 6,000 RPM. Injector test mode is 1 injector. I'm going to go with 5 millisecond pulse width down here. And number of injections, 500. And you should be able to hit start. And you will hear, I can feel my injector 1 is firing. So it is correctly wired. And you can see the countdown pulses on the bottom right corner of your screen right here. Let's go ahead and check injector B, the second one in the firing sequence. Start. And here it comes in. There's your counter coming down. Gives you a chance to reach in and feel the coil. You can feel it snapping. Stop. And you can go ahead and go through all of your coils. I would like to thank my friends at tunerstudio.com, developers of Mega Log Viewer HD and Tuner Studio, DIY Auto Tune that supplies the AMP EFI series of Pro ECUs, and MSextra.com